Hey guys, real quick announcement before we jump into today's show. As you know, for a variety of reasons, not all families will be able to be with each other physically this Thanksgiving. When we've asked friends what they're planning to do as far as gathering with loved ones, some are quarantining, some are meeting in person, some are gathering outside around heaters, others are having dinner together using video calls. All of our situations are unique, but we are confident that we can come up with some good solutions that will allow us to gather around the table and celebrate food. And to do that, we have partnered with TakeThemAmeal.com, and we are giving away a $75 gift card for a traditional family turkey meal sent to a loved one. Check it out at our podcast Instagram page.
Come on in.
I'm Lainey.
And I'm Laura Beth.
And we are Steel Magnolias,
Two sisters who love family, traditions, and all things Southern.
We've got plenty of room at our table, so pull up a chair.
Well, hey, Lainey.
Hi, Laura Beth.
I tried to make that a little bit more country, like, well, hey, y'all, kind of moment, just because it seemed thematic for our topic today. I didn't wear
We've got the Southern accents, but we didn't get the musical gift.
No, I almost wore my cowboy boots, though, because I got the cowboy boots that you handed down to me.
Yes, they are pretty cute.
Primo. Well, we are excited today to be just, I don't know, in the presence of Zooming
of
with
greatness.
How do you set up interviews these days? With the wonderful ladies that we're calling the new ladies of country, and we invited them on to just chat through some of the things that are just happening in country music right now from their perspective. And we really feel like every industry has been touched by COVID-19. And we thought, let's not forget the musicians.
That's right. Big part of our Southern culture.
And so we are, just excited to have some new friends on today. So, Lainey, I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce first.
All right. Well, our first guest is a country singer-songwriter, Precious Lauren Massetti. Am I saying that right, Massetti?
Yes, you are. You are.
Lauren is, she vaulted into the national spotlight this year with her album, God Made a Woman. It hit number 4 on iTunes country albums, and she was also on American Idol this year. Yay! Her single with that name, God Made a Woman, hit number 18 after her appearance on American Idol. And she is an accomplished songwriter. She's written with many other great writers. She composed all the songs on her album, which was produced by Grammy winner Sean Camp. Mm-hmm. And it was named one of the best albums of 2020 by Saving Country Music. So we are so glad to have you with us, Lauren.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
She's been performing since she was 7.
That's crazy.
That is amazing. And you've been on the Grand Ole Opry, the Key West Songwriters Festival, plenty of time in Branson. I know you're going to have some good stories for us.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me again. The thing that started my music career from the time I was really little, I was raised by my grandparents, raised and adopted by my nana and my papa.
Oh.
And from the time I was wee little, they knew I loved music. I loved to sing. Nana would let me stay up late at night and watch the Statler Brothers show and all the classic artists on there. Crystal Gill was my spirit animal, and so, like, I don't know, I always knew I loved music, and I grew up singing in my church, and it kind of got the ball rolling. When I was 8 years old, I started getting voice lessons from a woman who sang in our choir, and her name was Cheryl Jameson, and I just thought she was like a rock star or something, and this rock star was giving me singing lessons, and so it was a lot of fun, and from then on, Nana drove me wherever, and I was just kind of stuck on stage and sang, and anywhere anybody would have me. And so I really started primarily in gospel music, but I grew up with a love of traditional country anyway. And so, I don't know, that's one really cool thing about country music is that it's kind of integrated in gospel, and you can do both and it's still considered country music. So, but
I think that's one of the reasons it works so well in Nashville.
Yeah.
Because there's a really nice blend of people of faith here that love country music. So it just seems to work here. So, well, Lauren, we're excited to have you. And also with us is Anna Christina Cash. Anna is married to John Carter Cash, the only son to Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash. She is an American singer-songwriter. She was raised in Miami, Florida by her Cuban parents who moved to the United States in the early 1960s during the onset of the revolution. Growing up listening to a multitude of genres, she considers her influence an eclectic array of inspiration from gritty blues and jazz to pop country. That is an array, Anna Christina.
It's been quite a trip for me.
Yes. So she has just released Melikaliki Maka. I practiced that many times. It's a lively song. I'm sure many of you have heard it before from Bing Crosby's version of it, but it's just a lively, dreamy, tropical melody of lyrical sentiments, and it means Merry Christmas. So what a perfect time of year to be releasing that. So welcome, Anna Christina.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here, and just so excited to be putting something really fun out there during this time, especially something after the follow-up of my album Shine, I wanted to release a holiday single. So really exciting.
That's awesome. Well, like I said, you were raised in Miami. So tell us, Anna Christina, just a little bit about getting to Nashville. Like, what in the world got you here?
So I made like a huge round trip around the country before I got here. So I was raised in Miami, Florida. And again, like you said, by my Cuban parents. In the 1960s, when Castro took power of Cuba, there was huge unrest. Everyone was really scared. There was fear that, that the teenagers were going to be indoctrinated into communism and sent to Russia. It was a rumor. So my grandparents were horrified, just terrified. And so my father came and lived in foster care for a while with a Catholic organization that helped him out, that partnered with the CIA. So before his parents even came, he and my uncle came to this country basically because of this program. Was their only chance. And he lived in foster care for a while until his parents came. Then my mother actually worked in a few labor camps on the onset of communism. It was a really hard life. My great-grandmother hid my grandfather's visa, so they had to stay longer because it was her last youngest son or something like that, and she felt selfish and wanted to hold on to him. So it's a really crazy, like, soap opera of a story. So they made it here. And long story short, my mom and dad met in Miami. I have 2 older sisters. I was born, I love to perform like my entire life. I started in school, in choir, youth fairs, and I started performing on this variety show, which was the longest running variety show in history, called Sábado Gigante, which means Giant Saturday. It was very colorful and very fun. And they had these little kid segments that were like competitions, but also they had little musical numbers. So it was kind of a mix between Star Search and Mickey Mouse Club, if you could imagine what that was. Anyway, so by the time I reached 15 years old, I signed my first major record deal with Sony Music Latin, because that was the opportunity that I had. Their office was in Miami at the time, and my demo got into the hands of one of the A&R people there. So I toured Latin America. I did a full-blown Spanish-speaking record first, worked with several Grammy Award-winning producers. And, when the label merged with BMG, I found myself without a label because they were focusing on their larger acts, So I was independent for a while and got a journalism degree from Florida International University. Wow. And ended up singing at a lot of large events in Miami. Like I sang at the presidential inauguration in 2005. And in 2006, I was invited to sing at the White House for Hispanic Heritage Week.
Wow.
Thank you. So then I decided to move to California. This is a very long story, like I said. And over there, I started casting for acting roles, got a few. I started doing just gigging, doing a lot of work out there, doing a lot of studio work, and just every kind of work I could find, really. So I was just really trying to make it out there. And I worked on my album, The West Coast Sessions, which is a pop soul record out there with a producer named Chris Price. And that was released around, I'd say 2015, that was released. But from there to Nashville, wow. So my husband and I met randomly at a bar, actually at the Sunset Marquis Hotel, which was right down the street from where I was. And we just started chatting, and we became friends, exchanged information. And he did not come back to visit Los Angeles till 9 months later. And like nothing was romantic at the time. We were just friends and it was very platonic and we were just pretending we didn't even like each other. And so then he came back and he's like, I'd like to ask you out to dinner, just like 9 months after, maybe texting every now and then. I'm like, okay, sure, like whatever. So then we realized we really had that connection. And then we started dating long distance after a little while. And then, the relationship started becoming very serious. And then I moved to Nashville, got engaged, got married, had a baby who's 3 now, Grace June. And I've been in Nashville ever since. And this is a crazy story. But I live in Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Right.
In 2007, I came to visit Nashville for the first time because I was supposed to work with a producer out of Hendersonville. So the first place I stayed in Nashville was not Nashville proper. It was in the Hyatt place in Hendersonville. And I remember driving around and being like, oh, wow, this is a cool little town. It's quiet, and there was even less back then than there is now.
Yeah.
And little did I know that years later I would actually live here. So life is very weird like that.
Wow.
And the Cash family roots in Hendersonville go back.
Absolutely. And I remember even on that trip, I had done the whole backstage Opry tour, and I've since then performed on the Opry several times. And it's been like a very surreal experience to kind of have everything come full circle.
That's awesome.
Was it pretty quickly in meeting your husband that he mentioned who his mother and father were?
No, he didn't tell me for a while, actually,
Okay.
which was crazy. We really had a genuine connection. And once he did, I was like, okay, that's cool. You know what I mean? But I'm not someone that's very easily impressed by celebrity. I don't know. I'm kind of weird like that. And I always worked in the studio with lots of just different people and different artists and everything. So that's just something that's been very normal my whole life. But we connected on a spiritual level, I would say first, and then as friends. And I think because we had such a slow progression in our friendship and in our relationship, that's why it's worked.
That's
so
awesome.
That's so cool. Well, Lauren, I want to ask you about just the new the sound of country music right now. Like, what are you hearing? What are you sensing the sound is right now?
Well, for me, country music, the definition is so, I don't even know if there really is a definition to country music anymore anyway, but I don't know. To me, country music has always just been about songs about real life that everybody, the working person, everyday life can relate to. And I guess that part hasn't changed. There's still songs about the human condition stylistically, with there being such a strong pop and even like a hip hop R&B influence in mainstream country music. I think there's a lot of that going on. I think there's a lot of that in mainstream country music. The kind of country that I've always gravitated to is traditional. I'm a huge Emmylou Harris fan, Dolly Parton, Loretta Lynn, and another one is Linda Ronstadt, who, whenever she did record country music, it was like that really rootsy traditional sound. And those are the women in country that I really, really look up to. And I've always just kind of wanted to stay true to that. So my heart, well, I just love it so much. And, to each his own, and everybody's taste is different. And, anybody that's having success in country music, that's just wonderful. It's just, I don't know, there's something about that traditional sound, and I guess now they're kind of calling it Americana, like the more traditional country is now called Americana. I don't know, but I don't know. Usually when I hear a song and I really like it, I like it. So there's so many definitions, though. I don't even know if you can define what country is right now, but as far as mainstream country goes, a lot of it has like the pop and the hip hop and R&B influences. Yeah, but that's what I'm hearing anyway.
Yeah. Anna Christina, what do you think? What are some of your sort of your influences, musical influences, and kind of what are you thinking the sound of country is?
Well, my influences as a person are extremely eclectic just because of where I've lived in my life. So not only did I grow up listening to Latin music artists like Gloria Estefan, who bridged the crossover between the Latin world and American pop, and she was a pioneer in that aspect. And people like Shakira, who at the, always wrote her own songs. She was a very strong female presence in my life. I also listened to a lot of 90s country, like LeAnn Rimes was very powerful to me in my youth. I remember just listening to her voice and being like, wow, because I listened to a lot of country music in Miami, Florida. We had 999 Kiss Country, and I listened to it all the time. And just the truthful songs really resonated with me. And people like Patsy Cline, like Loretta Lynn, who's worked so much also here at the Cash Cabin studio and has become so much like of a mentor to me. It's unbelievable. Like, she really has taken the time to mentor me as a songwriter and as an artist. She's a friend. Just so much, like the Shanias and the Faiths also that crossed into pop and country as well. Like, I was very deeply influenced by that, as well as jazz singers. A lot of Joe Stafford, a lot of Ella Fitzgerald, Etta James. So I lean a lot towards the rootsy, bluesy kind of vocals in my stylings as well.
That is awesome. That is eclectic. That is like everything you've just defined. I don't know a better word than eclectic. It sure
is. I just, you know what? I kind of do what I feel. And I'm a big believer in the song. I feel that if a song sounds good with just a guitar or just a piano, one instrument, I think if the song can stand on its own with one instrument, that means it's amazing.
Yeah, agree.
I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't feel like you need a...
No, I agree, 100%.
Well, Lauren, you you write most of your own stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What do you look for? Like, where do you get your inspiration?
Well, I don't know. Usually I always say, for the most part, my inspiration comes through my life experiences and I don't know. I get inspiration from a lot of things. A lot of times if I'm kind of stuck, I'll try to discover music that's like new to me. Not necessarily like new music, but music that I've never heard before. A lot of times it kind of lights a fire, kind of inspires me to like come up with something different, or I read or something like that to kind of get my mind going. But I don't know, usually it does come from human experiences, whether it's something I'm experiencing currently or something that I've gone through in the past. And I just feel like chances are if I've gone through it, everybody's gone through it. And a lot of times I'll take poetic license on a few things, but I don't know, usually that's where it comes from.
Yeah. Well, I want to jump in real quick because I did read that you are a registered nurse as well.
I am.
So
yeah.
I'm wondering, you're considered one of the frontline workers in this worldwide pandemic. So I'm just kind of wondering, are you feeling some song coming through some of the stuff that you've been seeing and working in?
I am. Actually, I just posted a video to on my social media of a song that I just wrote called Giving It All to You. And I don't know, it's this year, it's been really exciting for me. American Idol's opened so many doors and I've gotten a larger following on social media than I ever thought I'd have. And just knowing that there's that many people listening to my music, I'm beyond grateful. I can't even express it. I'm just really honored. But another thing that this year has brought on is this terrible disease. And it's just being in the hospital, and I'm a night shift worker, and there's just such a heaviness right now. And I mean, even somebody that, thank you, Lord, I'm mentally healthy for the most part. Like, it's just been a really heavy year. And as far as just really feeling down and seeing so many people suffering, and I don't know, it's just a lot of mixture of emotions, and life is so different for everybody right now. But I was really feeling it one night, and I wrote Giving It All to You. and just kind of my outcry to the Lord, like, I'm just giving it all to you, and that's all we can do, really. And so yeah, that has come out of it. I'm sure there's going to be more songs. I've been working a lot, so
yeah.
But
well, it is interesting how sometimes the hardest stuff brings out the best songs.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, Lauren, do you play as well, like different instruments?
I do. I play piano and I play guitar, mostly guitar. I'm a lot more insecure about my piano playing, but mostly guitar. And for a lot of years, I took mandolin lessons as well. And I, by no means am I Ricky Skaggs, but I do play mandolin too. But mostly my primary instrument is guitar.
Got it.
Love it. Anna Christina, what about you? What are you looking for when you're looking into what song you're going to record next?
Well, I'm a writer, and I'd like to sit down and really just think about kind of where I am in life at the time, and if there's a message that I want to give or a message that I want to say. Like a big one for me, off of my last Shine record, which I wrote pretty much the majority of the tracks for, was the single Broken Roses. I really felt at the time that I needed to come out with that one first as a single because it addressed mental health issues. So it was released on World Mental Health Day, and I partnered up with change.org to kind of help break the stigma and create awareness for mental health. So in the video, it shows a very real depiction of a relationship falling apart due to one of the partners suffering from mental health and from substance abuse. So I tend to like to have a message. I feel like I believe in a higher power. Clearly, I believe in God, and I feel that I'm here and I was put on this earth to communicate. I feel that as artists, we're vessels and communicators. So I kind of have an antenna, I think, like most artists do, and I hear what I need to hear, and I do as I'm told. And I don't know where it comes from, but and usually I just have the help of a guitar and some piano. I'm the same way. I'm not like by any means this glorious pianist, but I can write songs on piano and perform. But really, and I love Nashville for the reason that it's so collaborative. People just love to co-write here too. And I've had so much fun making friends during that process. And I think it's really important to be open to ideas. And, first of all, Lauren, I just want to say thank you for all of your work. I mean, just being a frontline worker during this time, you're one of our heroes. So,
God bless you. Thank you.
Yes.
To say that.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't hear that enough. So thank you for saying that.
Thank you so much.
Well, that was a great segue to my next question that you already brought up, Anna Christina. So I'll let you answer it first. Talking about collaborations, let's dream a little. You can just throw out whether you've made the connect or you just hope to. Who are some of the people that would be kind of your ultimate collaborators?
Wow, I really got into Rufus Wainwright early because of his songwriting abilities. I know it's and again a very interesting choice, but I love the melancholy, just kind of he's not typical in his writing. For some reason, he has a lot of just minor chords and just very interesting sounds. And I feel like he'd be someone interesting to speak to on a songwriting level. I think females, there are so many, really. It's hard to really think, but I don't know right now. It's interesting.
Yeah, it probably changes season to season, just like you were saying with the songs that you're interested in writing. There's going to be times where you might be dreaming of going to sing with someone that's different from the previous year. So,
well, I will say I do like Cam's recent work on her project. I thought her songwriting was excellent on that, and she's a great songwriter. So I think she'd be a great collaborator.
That's cool. Well, what about you, Lauren? If you could dream a little on a collaboration.
Well, I don't know. Whenever I moved to Nashville, my number one dream collaboration was with Matresa Berg, who wrote Strawberry Wine, You and Tequila Make Me Crazy. And even back when I lived in Ohio, I had her records, especially The Dreaming Fields, which have just it's one of my favorite records ever. And anyway, through, word of mouth and mutual friends, somehow by the grace of God, we got together and so I've written a couple songs with Matresa, and she and her husband, Jeff Hanna from the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, have become really good friends. And then that's another way I met my sweetheart, Sean Camp. He's the producer of my record, but we met writing songs and fell in love. And so that was a cool collaboration. And I don't know, I would say probably kind of within that realm. I'm a huge Gretchen Peters fan. And I've met her like a handful of times, like doing things with Sean and stuff, but I would love to write a song with Gretchen Peters. I feel like our writing styles, we have a lot in common. I write a lot by myself.
Uh-huh.
And so when I do co-write, like my Nana always used to make fun of me. I have 2 speeds, slow and stop. And and so like whenever I write songs, a lot of times, like, I don't know, it takes me a long time to come up with things. Like sometimes when I'm in a co-write, like on the spot, like when I'm writing by myself, a lot of times, especially when it's a God thing, it's kind of like Anna Christina was saying, there's an antenna coming up. And a lot of times the songs that I'm most proud of come like just out of my control within like 15 minutes, and it's there. And those are usually the songs I'm most proud of. But whenever I'm co-writing with other people, a lot of times it's like a slower thought process for me, because I'm like, I don't know, I grew up writing by myself. And so I'm still trying to, after years of being here, I'm still trying to get used to the co-write thing. It's very different. But I heard Gretchen Peters in a radio interview one time talking about how she usually writes by herself. And whenever she's in a co-write, she has to warn the other co-writer, hey, just so you know, you need to go really slow because I'm slow. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm the same. And like, I don't know, I'm just such a huge fan of her writing. So I don't know, Gretchen Peters for sure. Or Dolly Parton, or Emmylou Harris, or Linda Ronstadt, because they're all goddesses to me. So
yeah,
Yeah.
Good. Well, let's close out some of our music discussion, just talking about some projects that you guys are working on. But then we also have a few Southern questions, because that's who we are. We're just Southern girls, so we have to ask y'all a few Southern questions before we let you go. But Anna Christina, we mentioned your single and your new album, Melikilikimaka, that's out. But you can just tell us anything that you're working on right now.
Sure. So I'm working on continuing to promote my full-length Christmas album, my Christmas collection. And again, also just talking about my album, my full-length album, Shine, that was released this April in the middle of the pandemic as well. But I'm working on an EP that's more of like a country pop situation as a follow-up to Shine. So that's really fun. And I hope to work on a jazz project at some point, and kind of just take a little bit of a departure to do something creative and do more of like a jazz vocal album. So I'm very excited.
That sounds amazing. You stretch yourself really well.
Well, I think I just have ADD. I don't know.
Well, Lauren, what about you? What are you working on right now?
Well, right now I'm still continuing to promote God Made a Woman. That was released earlier this year. And my second single from that, Losing My Mind, just came out a few weeks ago. And I just released my very first music video. I'd never done one before. And so it's Losing My Mind. It's available on all of my socials and on YouTube. But I don't know. I have a surprise single coming out maybe in January or February. So I don't know. We'll see, but fingers crossed.
That is awesome. Well, what are some of y'all's favorite places in the South? And I'm going to keep that really broad. You can tell me like cities or restaurants or what, just favorite places.
Lakes, whatever it is. What are some of your favorites?
Okay, so I'm in love with Savannah, Georgia. That's where I took my bridal photos, and I love the Old Pink House. It's a really cute restaurant, and it's all pink. And I have this thing with pink. I'm just extremely feminine, and if I could make my whole kitchen pink, I think my husband would kill me. But like, I just absolutely love pink. And I got married in Charleston, which I absolutely love, and I love just kind of like the cobblestone streets in the French Quarter, and just the beautiful pastel colors. And there's, just so much about the South. And just here in Tennessee, like, I'm in love with trees. So I feel like I couldn't live in a better state because there are trees everywhere. And I'm just like, one of those tree people, I guess.
Yes.
Good answers. I love all of those.
Well, Lauren, what about you? Some of your favorite spots in the South?
Well, let me see. I love Gulf Shores, Alabama. That's
Yeah.
I've been there one time, and it was not long enough, but but I definitely want to go back. It was beautiful. I don't know. The places in the South that I like are places like Florida. I guess that would be considered, the South. I'm a huge tropical lover. So like anywhere with like a beach and palm trees, probably Gulf Shores, but I'm trying to think.
It's really hard to top that beautiful sand of the
yeah.
It really is. It's
Yeah.
like none other. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Well, just around the corner is Thanksgiving. And so that is sort of a epitome of Southern hospitality and hosting. So we were just curious, from your perspective, is there like a dish that's like, it's not Thanksgiving until you see a particular dish on the table? Or is there anything that you're going to be cooking this year? So Anna Christina, anything that you're just like, oh, I got to have this?
Yeah.
Are you the host? Are you the hostess, or do you go somewhere?
I'm the hostess this year. Normally we go to Florida, South Florida, to visit my family, and we go to Parkland, where my sister Eileen lives, and we sit there with her kids and my other sister. And usually it's a big deal, but my parents are like 70 and 75, and no one's really getting together, and we're kind of locked down in Tennessee right now. So other than my little daughter, I have 3 older stepchildren, so we're kind of just going to do a Thanksgiving at the house late at night. But it is not Thanksgiving until there's sweet potato casserole topped with burnt marshmallows. So that to me, and then I put cranberry on everything. I'm just like the worst cranberry person. I will put it on everything I put on my plate and like eat it with it. So, but I'm a big cook. I cook all the time. I actually did a segment on social media called In the Kitchen with Anna that I plan on bringing up again, because I'm in the kitchen. I cook every single day of my life, and it's just very exciting to me. And I have the Food Network app, and with the sweet potato casserole and the corn pudding and all of that, I'm just so excited. It's my favorite holiday because there are no expectations for presents. Everyone just gets to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So
eat, nap, and watch football.
Yeah. So
I can relate. Well, as far as my Thanksgiving plans, I'm pretty sure I'm working on Thanksgiving. So, things are a little bit different, mainly because of COVID. We're here in Nashville, and my family's up in Ohio, and my part of my family is in the medical field as well. My aunt. And so I don't know, we'll probably be apart for Thanksgiving, but normally it's not Thanksgiving for me unless there is stuffing or dressing. And
right.
That's my favorite. And I don't know if this is just like a weird thing that we do in the North, but we have oyster dressing, and it sounds weird, it sounds gross, but honestly, I grew up on it. My family makes it great, and I miss it when we don't have it. But it's really great, the oyster stuffing. So that was my favorite.
All right,
more beach.
And so, do you call it stuffing or
I call it stuffing. I grew up calling it stuffing, but I mean, I kind of use it interchangeably. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
great.
Well, I would love for you ladies to tell our listeners what's the best way for people to connect with you.
For me, sorry. Go ahead, Lauren.
Oh, I didn't know.
Go for it.
Well, for me on Facebook, it's Lauren Massetti Music, and on Instagram, it's Lauren Massetti Music. On Twitter and on Twitter, it's Lauren Massetti, but just anywhere my name is, I'm on all the socials. So just Lauren Massetti.
Pretty much for me, my website is annachristinakash.com, and same, I'm just all across the board with the socials, like on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and what's the other one? Instagram. There are too many. I feel like
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just Anna Christina Cash, plain and simple, except I wasn't able to get it on TikTok. I am on TikTok. So I am Anna Christina Cash Music. So it's very long, and that's the only one that's different from the plethora of social media that I have. So
Cool. Well, we'll be sure to put some links in our show notes so that people can connect and find you guys and support you and buy and stream your music and follow you. And just, this has been so fun. I'm so encouraged in just the creativity I hear in both of you.
Absolutely.
So it's really exciting to know that there's some new young blood coming up that's got some great ideas.
And I love that in the midst of such a hard year that you guys are both drawing inspiration in using your voice for good. And we so need that all the time, but especially this year.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to invite you guys to do our sign off with us. All right. So peace be with you.
And also with y'all.
Thank you.